All right, drummers, I hope you found that play through, that play along of the foundation piece number 1 helpful. We're playing it up to speed and then we're slowing it down a little bit. We're playing along with the backing track and then we're doing it as solo drums so that you can hear the various rhythms. That's the way that we're going to do it with all 4 of these pieces. At the end of these, you'll be really ready to start to look at Rock School Grade 1. So let's get started. Let's have a talk through number 1. Now, what I found over the years with this piece is that some students find it a wee bit tricky to dive straight in because, as I said, we haven't looked at this in Rhythm Builders. And also, if you think back to Rhythm Builders, we played crotchets on beat 2, okay? Crotchets on beat 2. Here, we've actually got a quaver or an 8th note, and that's allowing us to come in on the next half beat of the bar on another 8th note. So here's a way to approach this by using one of the rhythms that we are familiar with, that we should be familiar with, which is our pop rhythm. So if we go back to our pop rhythm, again, we're going to do it nice and slowly. Okay, there's the quavers on the hi-hat. Pop rhythm. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. So we've got our pop rhythm, and in your mind, just think I'm going to put in one extra note, but you've got to come in on the and of 2. All right, so how do we count our quavers? 1 and 2 and. There it is there. We're going to come in on that part of the bar. 1 and 2 and. So the first half of the bar is going to sound like this. 1 and 2 and. All right, and then 3, 4. So it's almost like we're playing the pop rhythm, simple pop rhythm, and then we're going to add in one extra note. And that's your rock rhythm number 1. So again, the key approach to working in this rhythm, leave out the hi-hat. Just play the bass drum and snare drum. Remember, the 2nd and 4th beat of the bar is on the snare drum. 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3, 4. Then you could play your pop rhythm with the quavers on the hi-hat. And then think about adding in that quaver on the and of 2. 1 and 2 and 3. 1 and 2 and 3. Fun to drum. Fun to drum. Fun to drum. Last time to drum. Okay. Now I'm deliberately playing it slow. This has to be played at 96 crotchet beats per minute, which is what we used whenever we're doing the audio there. So you can work on that slowly and then gradually bring it up to speed. And that is the key rhythm in your foundation drum kit number 1. And I hope you have fun playing that. Really important that we crack this rhythm because the other 3 pieces have elements of this within the rhythm. All right, so I hope you're getting to grips with that rhythm. Let's look towards the end of the line. Let's look at the last bar. All right, we've got 2 quavers on beat 4 and then the and of 4. Now, the first thing I'm going to say is that a lot of my students are happy to play the main rhythm, but sometimes they struggle with this bar. So the first thing to say is if you struggle with playing this, leave it out. Leave it out, okay? We do want to play the very last bar if you cast your eye down to the end of the chart, all right? We do want to do that because that's our drum fill. But if this is a wee bit tricky for you, don't worry about it. But I do want you to be able to play the key rhythm. This is just like a little additional, what I call a cha-cha, all right? 4 and. So the bar is going to sound like this if we do it slowly. Cha-cha, 1, 2, and 3, 4 and. So it's on the 4 and. 2 quavers at the end of the bar. Now, the difficulty, again, that some students have is maybe not just playing that. Some of them can play it, of course, but then it's moving into the next bar. You've got to be very careful because you're straight in on beat 1 of the second line. So if I do the last 2 bars of the top line and then we go into the second line, it's going to sound like this. Again, nice and slowly. Here we go, the last bar. Cha-cha. Into the second line. All right, so the way around that is to, again, practice it slowly. If you really do find it too tricky, don't be afraid just to leave that out and just play another rhythm the same as the key rhythm that we're using in this piece in number 1. All right, just to say right at the outset that if you can play 2 lines of this piece at the start, you're doing very well. So if you've worked through and you're able to play the main rhythm, even if you aren't able to play the cha-cha, or even if you can play the cha-cha, just aim at 2 lines, all right? I wouldn't be expecting in the initial stages a student to be able to play this top to toe, 4 lines, 16 bars in one go. That's a bit of a tall order, all right? So aim at doing 2 lines, and then eventually we can add on the next 2, all right? So 2 lines, you got 8 bars to aim at, and if you get that done after you've practiced the rhythm a few times, you're doing very well. And then keep chipping away to add on the next 2 lines, and we're going to come to the very last bar now and let you know what's happening with that. All right. Okay, and when you're ready and you are playing the whole piece, as you can see in the very last bar, we have a drum fill. Okay, so we're going to finish off the piece on a high. We've got a drum fill. So what have we got on the drum fill? We've got a crotchet in the hi-hat and a crotchet in the bass drum. Let's hear it. 1. All right, got to make sure it's a crotchet because we're then going to come in on beat 2 to play those quavers on the snare drum, and we're going to do them alternate single sticks. Right, left, right. If you're left-handed, you could go left, right, left. All right, so right, left, right. So that's 2 and 3. We'll count that, isn't that right? So 1, 2, and 3. And then we've got another quaver on the bass drum. And, so it's on the and of 3. And then one more, crotchet the bass drum on beat 4. Let's count it out. 1, 2, and 3, and 4. All right, let's do it one more time. 1, 2, and 3, and 4. So just make sure that you play that crotchet on the hi-hat and on the bass drum. Make sure you give it one full beat. You're coming in on beat 2 to play the quavers and then finishing off on the bass drum on the and of 3 and beat 4. And that's the end of the piece. Once again, I hope you have fun doing that. If you get 2 lines done initially, great. And don't panic about trying to get the whole piece done in one sitting. That's hard, okay? So 2 lines at a time, and then add on the next 2, and then slowly work on that little drum fill. That should actually remind you of some of the stuff that you did on the snare drum exercises in the previous lessons, all right? Because if it was all the snare drum, it would just be 1, 2, and 3, and 4. Isn't that right? 1, 2, and 3, and 4. Okay? But we're spreading the fill around the drums to give it a bit more punch and make it a little bit more exciting. Okay, foundation level drummers, that's number 1. Let's now look at number 2. Foundation drum kit piece number 2. Hi drummers, it's Alan here. Thanks so much for watching this video. If you found it helpful, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe for more. Plus, hit the links to become a Belfast Drum Channel member and get access to extra full graded lessons up to the professional level. Thanks so much again, and bye for now.